Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to this. Um, we have the privilege of being in a wonderful facility. This is the Jivika Center, which is a pet project of Puneet. And before we start off, I felt it is only fair and apt that we invite him to tell us a little bit about this place. It's a wonderful piece of architecture and some very innovative materials that has been used here. So if I can take the liberty, sir, to please expect you to come and say a few words about this place and tell us what you do here.
Sure. Morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to see you all. This is, as Samir said, Jivika, which is the Global Water Innovation Center for Action. This center was conceptualized by two close partners. Our largest customer, Gap Inc. and Arvind, decided that we need to save billions of liters of water because the textile supply chain is a water-hungry supply chain. And in addition to saving it in our factories, we thought we should build an innovation center that does several things. This center will train people in water technology. It will be a repository for best practices. It will have a lab that can do treatability studies and offer the industry testing facilities and services as to how their waste can be treated. It will also be an incubation center where startups can come and use the facilities, use the various streams of effluent that we have. We are setting up an entire bay for pilot plants of new technology. So it's also a hub to pilot futuristic new technology. And finally, it is also a place for research. So we are tying up with universities. So all of this to think about how we can do more with water. What I always like to say is that Gap and Arvind have only placed the first brick. This center is open for anybody to use. And especially since this forum is a CII forum, I would like to invite all of you to think about, while we are in this space, how you can join us. A lot of other GAP's competitors are also going to collaborate with us in a pre-competitive way. Many of our competitors on the manufacturing side are also engaging with us. And the impacts, the final thing is we want to have impact. So we are working with agriculture, we are working with industry, we are working with brands to figure out how this center can also be a place for collective action, where the cost of doing some intervention on water is reduced for all the partners because we are collaborating. So that's what this center is all about. The beautiful architecture is done by Stéphane Pommier of SPA Designs. It uses innovative materials that use very little water in its construction. So that was a brief introduction to this place. I won't take up much of your time. Thank you for allowing me the chance to speak about this. Thanks, Amit. Yes, I will be here, and the team, Jivika team, is also here. After the session, for those interested, we'll take you on a short tour.
Thank you so much, Puneet. That's really wonderful. Thank you for allowing us to use this facility. So before I begin, sir, just a few comments about the task force that has been constituted under the leadership of Colleen. The idea is to rejuvenate, revitalize the engagement with members. So this is the first in the series of events that we are planning. We have a couple of more events coming up. We want to do at least one such event every other month. And what better way to start than with stalwart like Sanjay Bhai. We are on home ground, so we had access. So we took the full advantage of extending that privilege. So we wanted to, and then thank you for letting us use this facility. The idea, sir, is to be able to talk to business leaders and understand from their perspective what has made them who they are, what has been their journey like, and how can we inspire and engage with our peers and learn from the best. So that is what we're here for. Now the most difficult part is to introduce you, sir. And it is, forget embarrassing, sir. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in this room who's qualified to introduce you. But protocol demands it, so I must, otherwise CII will not let me rest in peace. It really is. But to honestly, to be fair and to be honest, 28 years ago, when I first stepped into the prestigious LD College of Engineering grounds to attend college, I had no idea that one day I'll be sitting with the scion of the family and talking to them. And I'm sure each one of us in this room who have lived in Ahmedabad, who have studied in Ahmedabad, have been touched by the generosity, by the vision of the Lalbhai family, and we are eternally grateful for it. So coming from that perspective, I don't know how I can introduce you, but let me try and read out whatever has been at least given to me by CII and do justice to that. So ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and honor that I welcome all of you. Mr. Sanjay Lalbhai is a name that needs no introduction. It's synonymous with excellence, innovation, and leadership in textile industry and much more now in the last 20, 30 years. As the chairman and managing director of Arvind Ltd, he has transformed the company into a global leader, renowned for its commitment to sustainability and technological advancements. Under his visionary leadership, Arvind Ltd has not only set benchmarks in the textile sector, but has also diversified into various other fields, including fashion, education, and now real estate. Today we have the opportunity to ask him questions and delve into his journey a little bit. This exercise, and I'll try and keep it, sir, as short as the introduction doesn't need to be elaborate. I'll skip half of it. But we will straight away get into, like I said, the impact of the Lalbhai family has been something that we have all experienced in our lifetimes and something that we all live with every day. I would want to start off with, so how has been your journey when you grew up in that hallowed household and with that kind of legacy? And what was your childhood and what were your inspirations like?
Sure. First of all, welcome to Arvind and this center. I'm absolutely delighted to be spending time with you because I think it rejuvenates me when I talk to business colleagues. And of course, the privilege is that when I meet younger people, I think it's a great learning process to understand as to how you think and how you're looking at various issues. So thank you for calling me, giving me this opportunity. Now the question, I think I would consider myself very lucky that I grew up in a joint family where Kasturbai Lalbhai lived, and I happen to be a grandson of Kasturbai Lalbhai. So in this growing up, I spent 25 years with him. So it's been a long, lucky kind of first 25 years. Where you form all you understand the world and everything that there is to be imbibed. It's a long, interesting period. Quite a few things. Firstly, we were not brought up thinking that we are privileged. I mean, for a very long time, I never thought that I'm from a very privileged background because I went to Rachna, which is, again, it was run by my mother. And all my friends were living nearby, and they came from very modest backgrounds. So I never went to school in a car. I always walked there, or I went on a bicycle. I have great memories of dining with my friends where the mother was cooking in a one apartment kitchen, and we would sit on the floor and eat. All these guys would come to my place and we would spend a lot of time in my Lal Bagh, which is now turned into a museum. But we never, I mean, it never crossed my mind that I'm coming from a little different background because everybody, every friend of mine was living in an apartment nearby, correct? And it was all okay. I mean, this was a little bigger apartment, but besides that, nothing else. And never it has been, I think the core of Kasturba Lalbhai was simplicity. I think he wore the same clothes all round. He had 7 pairs of kurta and pajama. He numbered them because he would want to know as to how many times they went for wash. So if one tore, he would try and figure out as to which taka resulted into this. So every dress of his was washed equally. So, I mean, I have grown up looking at these small things, correct? Paper was never used. Now we are talking about, sustainability and conserving things and things like that. But all envelopes, till they will tear down, were used as paper for communication. So it was recycled so many times that there was nothing left to be written on the envelope, and it was constantly going back and forth, correct? I still remember that people from very large companies, Grumman, chairman of Grumman, and these kind of companies, which are Fortune 500 companies, and Dadaji had lots of relationships, and we used to have lots of people coming to our place and staying with us. In old times, the greatest thing of networking was that everyone stayed with you. No one stayed in hotels. So you would create a very different kind of bond. Because when you live with someone, you have to live like a family. Correct? So when these guys came, I mean, they would have come for the first time in India. Firstly, it would have been a shock coming to India from America. And they were then made to live in a very simple, frugal way. And one of the things Dadaji insisted on is that you cannot use more than 2 buckets of water for bathing, though there was hot and cold water running. So this is the right place to discuss this, water conservation. So, I mean, you have to sit down on the floor with a tumbler and a bucket, correct? So you can have hot water, but then they were taught, the Grumman chairman, that you first start the hot water, close it, then start the cold water, just have it proper, and then only 2 buckets are allowed. Just you have to sit. So I have this recall of, I thought that was very normal, correct? But these are the kind of things I've grown up with. Simplicity to the core. All these great principles we talk about, I have seen them lived and imbibed and executed, correct? So it became part of our DNA, I mean, we are talking about CSR. I mean, we were always told that, what do you do with money? I mean, money beyond your requirements and a little bit for safety is necessary. It's a necessity. Otherwise, the world will be cruel to you. So but anything beyond that is literally a waste. I mean, it's really of no use. So contribute towards things which will make a difference. So this is part of the DNA. It's something we have grown up with. So it's not charity or social responsibility or a CSR or a legislation which forces you to do or behave in a particular way. It's a way of life, how you look at life. How do you use your resources? And more than that, I think, what I saw was that the kind of personal pleasure and joy which Dadaji got from building these public institutions was far greater than his own business. That I have seen, correct? So it became part of our DNA, that this is something which is very rewarding. So one is that you're doing something, but does it make you happy? The answer is yes. When you see a smile on someone else's face, correct? When I go to colleges, the Ahmedabad University, we have a very inclusive policy. So it's not an elitist school, correct? It has the best of everything. I mean, it has all the resources which any good university should have. But we insist that anyone for want of money should not be denied the education. So we go to households and children whose family income is less than 4 lakhs or 8 lakhs. And then we go and convince their parents that your child is very meritorious and we will take complete responsibility of this. Not only the fees, but we will just provide everything from internet connectivity to computers to books to whatever. So you don't need to worry about your child. Everything is going to be taken care by the university. So it's a very inclusive university. And our Dean, Pankaj Chandra, goes to their households. Firstly, we want to verify that what data we've got is correct, because this can be misused. And secondly, we have to convince the parents that this is not an elitist school, correct? Your child, because we just are based on merit, and there is no discrimination, no gender, no religion, absolutely neutral to everything except merit, correct? And once you qualify, it will be given to you. So I think I'm just going round and round, but this would give you, I think, more examples. And what you learn from all these things is more important than some high-flung theories, which, so I will go into these anecdotes where I have learned all the values, punctuality. Like I was very disturbed today, I started giving a cushion. We always give cushion to arriving on time. So I'd given myself 10 minutes and I went into a huge traffic jam. So I called up Kuli and I said, this is very embarrassing. I've never been late for a meeting, and that to a public meeting, correct? And I was 5 minutes late. You may not have observed it, but it pained me a great deal, correct? So this was taught to us that it is very insulting to keep people waiting. And it is a sign of arrogance, correct? You'd never do that. You have to value others' time more than yours. And you have to provide that cushion, correct? So usually what I do is, I always start early, correct? And if someone knows, I'm circling the place because I don't want to also arrive earlier than a call. You're going to someone's place. You can't just arrive 10, 15 minutes early. That would be impolite, correct? So you circle in a car, but you just arrive 2-3 minutes ahead of time. Now, who taught me this? I mean, no one taught me these things, but I observed it with Dadaji. That there will, when he used to sit outside in a fan, no air conditioning, and he would be reading Reader's Digest. I mean, he had resigned from the business. I mean, he had already created succession plan. And in succession plan, the kind of thing he told everyone in the family, because it's joint family, extended family. So he said that I am available. He bought cotton till he passed away. So the only thing he did was he bought cotton daily personally, okay? Nothing else. And he said that now I am retiring and I will not ask you a single question on business. Not a single question. You want my advice? I'll give it to you. And he also said that uncalled advice, please do not give. It will not be valued. So if someone does not ask you for advice, just refrain from giving advice. So this is another very clear message on how to walk away just one day. You are completely working and then you're away. You just completely cut off from that. And
what age, sir, was that?
70 or 75, I may be mistaken, 75 possibly, yeah. I think Papa also retired at 75. Then he never asked a question on business. So I've tried to retire at 70, so I stop at 75. It's difficult to walk away because, see, I don't remember doing anything with my life. As soon as I would get up, I mean, it was a 24/7 ever since I've joined business, correct? So, I mean, it becomes, it is difficult to wake up and say, now you have nothing to do, correct? So, I mean, I thought it would be very easy, but I'm still struggling with it, correct? Because you have to just give it away, and it's a difficult task. I mean, so I'm admiring now how my father and my grandfather did it. And am I living up to it? The answer may be yes and no, correct? So it's a difficult task. And when you have given so much to something and it's your passion, it was not work ever, correct? So, I mean, I've never worked. I have done something which gave me a lot of joy. And it was meaningful in that way. See, when you're born in this kind of a family, I'll tell you another anecdote. Arvind Kaka was very, very kind of networking gentleman. Met everybody, he knew everyone. His full-time work was networking, correct? He was the public face. We have a public face. Otherwise, we are all very reticent, so you will never see us anywhere. So one public face is required. So Arvind Kaka was that public face. What was I saying? Yeah. So I've forgotten the anecdote in the joke. I lost my rhythm. Let's come back. So we used to visit Dhirubhai Amman. That would be surprising, you know. Dhirubhai grew from a shed in Naroda. I mean, you all know how it began. And we were the largest textile company at that time. 7 textile mills, blah, 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 blah. And Ramnik Bhai used to jokingly come, "Sahab, aap to bada sahib cho. You are big people." So, it was a different world, but very quickly Reliance became what, I mean, it very quickly acquired size, and so we used to go to meet Dhirubhai Ambani, and he jokingly used to tell me that you will never be able to make it big. I said, why? He's saying, you see, you guys are born in luxury and you've never seen distress, correct? And you have never felt that need to prove yourself. So this is another bad thing of being born in this kind of a privileged household, because everything is given to you. I mean, you have never seen strife. So today, if you look at 80% of the value creators, they're all first generation. Because that desire to win, and you come from very compromised background, and you've been insulted many a times. I mean, you've seen the ugly side of the world, which we have not seen, to be very honest, correct? So to that extent, we have never felt the need to prove ourselves. On the contrary, we are self-effacing, because it's too much of recognition, correct? It's also not very nice. So he used to say, okay, listen, we have the risk-taking ability, which you will never have. And risk and returns go hand in hand. You don't know how to be poor, correct? I mean, you will never understand, and you will be afraid of that. And once you are afraid of being poor, you cannot take risk. And because you cannot take disproportionate risk, you can never grow. I said, that is the correct thing. He's saying a Dori Lota concept. We have come with Lota, we can go back to Lota, because we have that mental strength. You guys would not even know that, and you mentally will get distressed thinking about this. So this was a very interesting anecdote and a very correct observation that when you are born in a privileged household, your way of looking at world is very different. And your even understanding the world is very different. Correct? So these are the disadvantages of being born in a privileged household. So many anecdotes. I mean, getting up in the morning, he was so punctual that he would just expect everyone to be there for breakfast. And I had to get down for breakfast at that particular time, and there would be a whole SOP like the ones you just did. So he would say, good morning. I had to say, good morning. How are you? So I would have to say, how are you? He'll say, I am very well, sir. I don't know why he called him very well, sir. So I had to say, very well, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This I've done for I don't know how many years, correct? So as soon as he would hear me getting down from the floor, because it's a wooden floor, so he would start this sitting downstairs and I would start that. It had to be exactly at the same time. And in the evening, if we do not get back from work at 6, of course I had only 1 year of working life, sharing. So he never told me, but he would tell my father many a times that you all guys are so inefficient. The very fact you have to sit after 6 o'clock means you don't know how to get things done. You're wasting your time, you're wasting everybody's time, and this is one of the most inefficient way of working. The funny thing was that he used to sit in he and Naru Kaka, two brothers sat in the same room with a fan and no air conditioning and no secretary. And their door was always open. So anyone from worker to MD to any politician could walk in with of course, informing. Workers were allowed without an appointment, just walk in, correct? And there were no chairs in front of his table. So people would think, why there is no chair? Chair means wasting of time. You come and sit down. Now it will be impolite to say get out, correct? Or it's over. If you're standing, in any case you are in an awkward position, correct? So you want to quickly say something and quickly get out. And then there is no formality of tea, coffee and that blah, 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 you know. Pani pina hai, arre kuch nahi pina hai. Kaam karo, niklo. Correct? And no greetings, nothing. Just no good morning, it's a waste of time, correct? Morning is good, everything is good. Don't get into formalities. Come, say something, get an answer, get out. So he would never be short of time. He always had more time. Because nothing will take more than 1 minute or 2 minutes. Nothing. The most complicated of issues. Here we have reviews, boardrooms. Oh my God, I mean, you know, presentations. These guys come in with those laptops and then they, firstly to wo technically चालू करने में 5 minutes हो जाती है. Nothing talks to nothing. Someone comes with Apple, someone comes with Android. I mean, it's a mess. And I tell people कि भाई यार आप क्यों presentation करते हैं? आप मुझे एक phone करो, correct? मैं आपको answer दे दूँगा. And numbers मुझे नहीं, आप मुझे 5 numbers बताओ, मैं समझ जाऊँगा, correct? But ये नहीं होता है अभी. It will be a long drawn presentation. We have some IITMs sitting here from management. We can't get them out of the presentations, you know. And now this generation is very happy with presentation. Arey, this man, for me to take his appointment, is one of the most complex issues. So we don't see eye to eye at all. ये क्या कर रहा है? I mean, look at my calendar. Oh, calendar. अरे भाई, calendar कैसे मैं देखूंगा अभी? I can't do these things, correct? And see, we used to work like this. So I've learned it like this. Every evening I will write down before sleep, and I would recommend this, that write down what you have to do the next day, correct? And it has to be done at any cost. So it cannot be, then there cannot be any excuse that I was busy and this and that. It doesn't matter. And I also believe that, I mean, now we can't call people on Saturday, Sunday, and it's family time and it's personal time, and all those issues. So I respect that. I mean, I respect. I said, but that doesn't apply to me, correct? I don't like things remaining pending. So you can call me 24/7. And I am in different time zone, doesn't matter. I can go off to sleep after you wake me up at 2 o'clock. Don't keep things pending. Correct? Now yesterday there was a meeting. Sir, you know, this budget has not been approved. I said, why it has not been approved? Unless we write down the whole budget, there is this thing, policy now, that nothing can be sanctioned. I said, fine, but why did you not take my approval? Saying, no, we are making a presentation. Okay, you're making a presentation. I said, how many days? No, we couldn't synchronize the calendars for 10 days. Arey? So the outcome is my suppliers are not paid money. Now, how people will be thinking of Arvind? It's not the want of money, correct? It's just that a meeting has not been synchronized and a budget has not. Now this is, I don't know, all of you guys, I mean, who taught you all this and why do you want to work like this? I mean, this is bizarre. And so I would advocate you continue with whatever you're doing, but bring some urgency, correct? And conclude things as quickly as you can. I mean, I've seen the largest organizations not ponder and get into bureaucratic jams. So one of the advice is that please, I'm not saying don't do reviews, don't do proper. I think database analysis, database decision making, lot of analytics, lot of logic coming into decision making is all required. But there are certain things which you need to resolve on a daily basis. So a good mix between the two. The other thing is that I'm going. Please, we are enjoying it thoroughly. There's no logic. Whatever comes to my mind, I'm telling you. Another thing I think about reviews is that you are reviewing the past, correct? So you will learn from those reviews. You will learn about the kind of, it will give you data on all the cycles which have taken place. You will have variances. You will have the reasons why the variances were there. There will be certain trends that these costs are going up, these costs are going down, the contributions going down, all that you'll learn. But you'll not be able to change the future. And very little is being done so we have 3 years plan. All of you would have 3 years, 1 yearly plan. Now, what are you doing about ensuring that your next month and the next 3 months, what is likely to go wrong and what are you going to do about it? And how are you getting that data in real time? And are there people supporting you, telling you what can go wrong and what is going wrong on a daily basis? So one of the things I've found very useful is, and very early in my life when I joined business, I had some CAs from Birla. And Aditya Birla used to follow this Padta system. So he would know a daily kind of contribution and daily P&L would be known. All that you have to know is that your monthly numbers, P&L numbers, broken down into daily numbers. And suppose you are only producing against sales, which are already booked sales. Then if you default on production, that's a permanent loss. If you don't default on production, you achieved your budget. So production-based P&L on a daily basis. And as soon as you don't hit that number, you will know all the reasons why it didn't happen. And if there is a trend which is repeating this thing, then you have to immediately address it. So these are the kind of quick fixes and quick capabilities I think every business leader should develop, that you are on a daily basis knowing your numbers, and as a result, of course, everything there is to know about the business. And when you have a large business, it has to be exception reporting. You don't want to know everything. You want to only know problems. So I also jokingly say that, as you grow higher up in the hierarchy, or you are leaders, all of you are leaders, you're running your businesses. It's a difficult task because you only want to know the bad news, correct? Because you don't want to know what is doing well. I mean, what is the point of, after a size, a certain size. And when you have diverse businesses, some of your questions. So when you have diverse businesses, you can't know everything in detail on a daily basis. So you want to know only exceptions, and you want to solve them, and if there are some trends developing as to why things are going wrong, then you want to address them. So broadly, these things, this learning, very simple upbringing, not giving importance to money beyond, money not being important because, I mean, money is very important, but only to the extent that it serves all your needs and has enough for the rainy day. So whatever that may be, correct? So you want, and nothing about personal glory or prestige or has never been an important part of my growing up. I've seen that it's just something we walk away from. I mean, this is not something we like, to be in the eye of any kind of, we don't want any kind of recognition or importance. So this is the kind of upbringing which I had, and a lot of learning from Dadaji, because I think he was just exceptional, and the kind of networking, you know, I've seen politicians come and stay with us. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was a dear friend of his, and he used to come and stay, and from various chief ministers I've seen him discuss things very frankly which you can't possibly think of, and he would aggressively reprimand them if he thought that. And it was a very open and kind of honest debate. So of course, different times and different environment. And all the large business houses, their families or those individuals coming and staying with us. So it gives you a very different kind of understanding of, so all the Birlas used to stay with us, all the Goenkas used to stay with us. So almost every family came and stayed, and I would get that opportunity to observe them, and Rama Goenka came for a week. So that was a long stay. And I was a little older at that time. So I said, why would you come and spend? I mean, you are way beyond Lalbhai family and you are top. He's saying, I have come to learn as to what Kasturbai, how he has looked after the family, and how do you remain as a joint family. So it was his, and he's saying, I've come here to observe and understand. Another very interesting thing I'd like to tell you. So Dadaji had a very different vision for the family. There were 4 sisters and 3 brothers. So there were 7 of them. So there was this thing about brothers and there was this thing about sisters. And one sister was unmarried. So she was considered a brother. Correct? So there were 4 brothers, 1 lady, 3 gents. So they were called the brothers family, and the 3 were the sisters. So they married into 3 other families, correct? Of course, the Nanavatis, Javeris, and the Hatti Singhs. So we had 3 families come in as an extended Lalbhai family because they married into these 3 families. So he started 7 listed textile companies, each one for his all the 7 of them. So that's why one question you would want to ask, why 7 listed companies? It doesn't make sense, correct? So this was the logic, that he started 7 listed independent companies and gave 1 to each one of them. So the extended Lalbhai family at that time, the Magnificent 7 it was called, correct? The 3 were managed by the sisters' families. So there was a Nanavati running one family, one composite textile company, one Javeri and one Hatti Singh. So they were part of our extended family, and one company was run by auntie, the unmarried sister, Raipur. And the 3 were run, 3 brothers ran 3 textile companies. So this is how the whole family And at that time, now someone will ask, should sisters be given equal share, blah, 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 blah. Succession planning में सब आएगा. Correct? तो क्या होने का, क्या होगा, तो ऐसा. And someone asked him one day jokingly, seriously, that, don't you worry, you take all the burden, you are Kasturba Lalbhai and you share it with all the... He's saying, don't ever ask this question. That, and one of the brothers was into social responsibility, not actively involved in the business. So why would you give an equal share to this gentleman? He's saying, see, never ask this question because I don't know whose luck is making this family run. So who works is not important, correct? Remaining united and never ever have that thought in your mind that I'm working and someone else is sharing. You know, that idea doesn't come in your mind. Now, see, it's a difficult thing. Now, once you start writing down, these are complex issues. And if you have a certain belief or certain set of values or how you feel, what is your belief, what you want to do, then only you will get clarity. Otherwise, these are difficult things. And as soon as you give importance to wealth, these are becoming very extremely difficult issues. And as soon as you also give importance to your prominence or your face coming, see what happens in a joint family is that, and today you know the media. I was working, correct, and I was in a joint family. And we were now 7, it has been always 7 in Lalbhai family. So we were again 7 cousins, correct, and all united. And I was playing a role, correct, everyone plays a role. So I was playing a role, but when you play a certain role, you get prominence and you get into the eye of the media. Now these things become complicated, correct? You get that prominence and you get that, and the world works that way. You see someone's mugshot, it becomes suddenly important, correct? I don't know why, but it does. So, then that jealousy factor, because you have, we were second cousins, correct? And you get the wives come in. Then all these discussions start. Kare yaar, sabko prominence inko milta hai. You know the world. So all these things become very messy. And it is your role to say, listen yaar, don't get into all these things because I am playing a role. Don't call me a Sachin Tendulkar. Correct? I am finally part of an 11. And I may be a good player, but only 11 players win a game. No one person can, once in a while it happens, correct? But always it is the team which makes you win. So when you think about family, if you're going to think about personal gains and personal wealth and personal blah, 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 it's never going to work. And you get into, then it is better to say that let's remain friends and let's part. Because otherwise it will become a very tedious process, and then you will, once the relations are spoilt, it's difficult to mend because, those are emotional issues. And a financial issue, don't let it become an emotional issue, correct? So this is, that clarity has to be there that I'm going to share. Everything is divided, everything is equal. There will be never a claim of a penny more just because you playing a certain role. You're just playing a role, correct? So these are all the learnings. And at that time, equal rights to women, equal rights to family. He professionalized Arvind and Atul. So family was involved, but he had Mazumdar, who was from London School of Economics at that time. He ran Atul. And Chandra Prasad Desai ran Arvind professionally. And the family members were doing functional jobs while these guys were almost like CEOs. At that time, professional, family, joint family, sister's family included, 4 different families, bringing them to one set of values, one set of behavior, very, very, very complex, but it worked. It worked. So these are...
That's amazing. I mean, we are fascinated by this. And it's evident, it's very visible that this is 18 generations and 400 years of history that we are able to listen to. And it is very evident that I have not heard business leaders talk about anybody else but themselves. And this is really amazing to hear this. It's fascinating. I just want to delve a little bit into the history. Is it true that this Arvind was started because of Gandhiji's call for Swadeshi?
To be very honest, I don't know. But no, I don't think, but see, there were, so the history goes like this, that when Lalbhai, my grandfather's, Kasturbai's father started the first mill. So now that was started at the call of Swadeshi. To be very honest, I don't know. So I won't give you an answer. My wife would know. So if you have to call, then you have to call Jaishi. She knows all the history. She's a historian, so she knows everything about the family going. We have digitized everything. So we want to share this, and not as a record of Lalbhai family. We're a little reticent because it assigns a family name. I think the learning is, how would 17 generations survive? Correct? Why would there be a recorded history of 17 generations? Did the family write that history? The answer is no. The society did. The community did. Why did that happen? Because you always lived for the community. Correct? Otherwise, how would there be a recorded history? I mean, my recorded history has vanished, and I'm very happy for that. Correct? Because we have not recorded. So unless I have done something which is of some importance to the society, who cares that you did this? I mean, how does it matter? I mean, it doesn't matter to me, and I'm sure it shouldn't matter to others. All that should matter is some learning and how it can help someone else, correct? What someone has achieved, I mean, people achieve things, and all of us are guest artists coming and going. So I mean, how does it matter a film? You know, it's like a dream. When you get up, the dream is so real. I mean, sometimes even you are emotionally connected to the dream. But you know, it's just a 12-hour story. So is life. We are all living we are all artists, and we are all learning, correct? Whatever there is to learn, that's going into spirituality. But finally, how can you take this very seriously? Correct? And some actors and some films will do well and some won't. Doesn't mean that guy didn't act well. I mean, he did well. He may not have been recognized. The film didn't do well commercially. Doesn't mean it was a bad film, correct? So I think life should be treated like this. And if you wear it lightly, if you really do what matters to you, if you're passionate about things, if you're enjoying things, in your way you're contributing as much as you can to whoever you can, correct? That's the only meaningful thing. Nothing else is, I mean, we all know the futility, but we still get all so caught up with this, correct? No need. Absolutely no need.
So this gravitas is awe-inspiring, definitely. One more question want to delve a little bit about Arvind and your journey with Arvind. Sure. And if you can tell us how, because you went through an era, the licensed Raj, the entire era where everybody else that was there, all the business leaders in the textile domain in that era, most of them don't exist anymore. Sure. And you survived. Not only did you survive, you dominated. And your denim moment, how did that come about, and what is the history of that? And if you can tell us a little bit about that journey.
So it's an interesting journey. This was started in 1930. So this was the third company. And to complete that anecdote, so Dadaji, Lalbhai passed away at the age of when Dadaji was 16. So he had to leave school and join business. And he was the second eldest. So there was Chiman Kaka and then Dadaji and Naru Kaka. So all the 3 brothers had to join business at a very early age because Lalbhai passed away. And they were given one mill. There were two mills. And the other mill was managed by the uncles. So, I mean, for some reason, the uncles were not very supportive. So the eldest sister supported Dadaji at that time because he was very young. So he started, and as things would just turn out that the uncle's factory went into distress. So Dadaji had to buy it. And then, so that was the second mill, and Dadaji gave back the work to them after buying it. So he never thought that, they're not supported, and all those thoughts don't come, correct? You do what you do, irrespective of what others have done to you. That's another thing, that because someone has hurt you doesn't mean that you respond in a way which is good, correct? And it is very difficult to then, when someone has been bad to you and you are good, that's a very different equation, correct? It completely changes things. So that is what he did. And in 1931, Arvind was, and this is all that 7, he had to have 7 because of the family requirement. So Arvind was started in 1931. And from day one, it was profitable. It was listed, 3 crores equity. I think when I joined, I'd asked for numbers, but less. But Jagdish was told to tell me, but not told me. So whatever it was. So it started profitably, and first year it distributed dividend. Until the time I joined Arvind in 1979, not a single year of loss. Every year dividend was given. Just imagine that unbroken record of being successful, correct? Of a company. Very well run. Arvind and Calico were the 2 major names. Of course, there were 65 composite textile companies. And of course, there are lots of very prominent other companies also. But amongst all of them, Calico and Arvind had achieved that brand and certain differentiation. So Arvind was in the women's wear and fine materials, dhoti, and you must be all, I don't know, it's all past now, but dhotis and saris and butta, so all women's wear fabrics, except dhotis and some of the kind of nightwear and all that. So when I joined, of course, the power looms had become a reality, and that had started hurting us. See, what has happened with so many years of textiles, I mean, all our agents, our distributors had become very knowledgeable in this. And there was a whole ecosystem which was very good. And these were now second generation, third generation people coming into the textile ecosystem. They were very smart, very capable. Many of them then wanted to be beyond being in distribution. So they all went into backward integration. That time, because of the license Raj and all that, it was impossible to get permissions. So, I mean, they started. And because it started becoming a critical mass, and it had so many workers then getting jobs, that it was impossible for government to clamp down on them. Because the licensed units like ours became a minority, and the kind of job creation which happened in the power looms was much higher. And I wouldn't want to say, but I mean, they were competing with a different set of norms. We don't want to discuss that, correct? I mean, we all know that they were, so the whole composite mill owners, Shaibag, that era of elitist environment. So everyone was in denial कि यार ये लोग unscrupulous methods से जीतते हैं, ये है, वो है, तो बंद हो जाना चाहिए, इसको बंद करवा देना चाहिए.
But you could not dominate with the, when you could not influence the government to close down
And we were not even getting license, so we could not have increased our volumes, correct? And why would a democracy, correct, how would it stop jobs? So I used to discuss with all these elders, कि यार ठीक है, correct? But we're going to die because there is no winning strategy. What will you tell the government? That now ratify power looms? Okay, it's tough, democratically tough. And no government in power is going to do this. So let's accept this reality. And we need to change now. I mean, we can keep on saying this is wrong and this is unscrupulous and this is that and blah, blah, blah. How is it going to save you? No one agreed. Even my own mills didn't agree. My own family didn't agree. No, Sanjay, these are all passing phases. We've seen these things, correct? And I mean, something which is not compliant, in a broad word, cannot sustain. I said, no, bhai, this is a peculiar problem. I understand if it is, but this is efficient. Firstly, please understand, it's 10 times more efficient than you. Pehle to aap, you become a old, so you lost relevance, you're not efficient, your costs are not sustainable, and secondly, you are trying to wish away something which is impossible in democracy. So we need to find a solution, and otherwise, unless we change our ways, and unless we get into things where power loom is not going to compete. Let's say power loom is going to be dominant. So I don't want to question that. Whatever may be the reasons, that's not what we need to discuss. What we need to only think about is that if this is reality, what is the solution? How do we survive? How do we now thrive? So that's why I called Dr. Mote from IMA. He was the only strategist in textiles. So I put in a team together to say, bhai, abhi kya karenge? This is reality. I don't want to waste my time trying to figure out how to wish away power looms. Because I was very clear that power looms are there to stay and we can't compete. And now all the products I am making, they're making it at reasonably lower prices. And distribution in any case was with them. So, okay, brand can hold, but finally it is a commodity and a price would matter and we can't win. So this team started saying that let's think about products which we were 98% Indian market, domestic market. So saying, let's first say, are there products which have universal appeal? Secondly, what is our strength? Cotton. So can we build something? It has to be in cotton. It has to be globally appealing, correct? It has to be technology-led, so it's not very easy for someone to just quickly replicate it in the power looms, because there is a component, I mean, there is a part of. So how do you differentiate yourself? How do you look at a new market? How do you look at a large market, correct? So then we were saying that technical textiles, man-made fabrics, blah, blah, blah. Not technical textiles, denim, this. So denim was one, but the denim was quite complicated. You do yarn dyeing and you have to complete. We were thinking about technologies which Arvind had never ever looked at. So, yes. So what happened is that I had my Rajiv Badlani, who was married to my cousin Sanjay Lalbhai. So he was from the same school, Bajaj Institute of Management. He went to an advertising company, a brilliant advertising mind, and a new age guy. And he only wore jeans himself. So he's saying, listen, Sanjay, I think the only thing which is going to make sense is denim. Because Bollywood has started looking at this, correct? If you look at the whole world, even Islamic countries wear denim. And if you look at one fabric which has transcended every dogma or any boundary, is denim. No country, sect, sex, gender, ethnicity, religion, bars. Should I say religion bars? Bars, this fabric. So he said, ye banao. So he was wearing it. He's saying, I'm going to put up the first first, I'm going to manufacture a brand and I'm going to brand this. Correct? So I'm going to launch a branded, no diesel. I'm going to make a brand of my own and I need denim. So then we had a very good R&D setup at that time, exceptionally bright PhDs, Dr. Roy and Dr. Schroff and all those kind of stalwarts who are technically brilliant. So he said, the denim banana hai. So they came up with, you need these dedicated machines, this dedicated. So it was becoming a reasonably large. I said, bhai, aisa to hai, who will, as such we are facing the onslaught of power looms. Our profits are, I mean, Arvind was the only thing which was tottering away. I tried my hand at, immediately I started the garden bit and the Reliance bit because they were all both successful, correct? So I said, listen, this is a proven thing, domestic market. We know domestic market. So I got all the water jets and texturizing machines and all those things. So it was moderately successful, not successful, and it didn't change the fortunes of it. So this has happened before denim. So I was already in that business, some part of our business, but there again Surat came in and and Garden was a brand, Reliance was a brand, and Arvind was a women's cotton-based brand. So it is a transition. So this, we said, no, we'll have to find a cheaper way of test marketing denim. So then we came up with an innovative idea. Okay, let's print it on a drill. Simple. The weight of the fabric will be the same as denim, but we will not go through this unique technology of yarn dyeing and all that because it requires dedicated machines and you don't succeed, then I mean, it's a risk. So we printed indigo on denim and he washed it down and he launched Flying Machine, Rajiv Badlani, the first Indian brand. And he had such a small ad, and that ad is an iconic ad. He worked with O&M at that time, so he's the O&M pedigree. And brilliant advertising mind, brilliant marketing mind. So he said, why wear foreign? And just one girl with a pair of jeans. It's still one of the most recognized ads, and this size. Huh? And that brand just took off. I mean, just exceptional advertising and exceptional, and I printed denim and it worked. And so we said, let's put the pilot facility of 3 million meters. So we put the dedicated machines which were required for denim at that time. And as luck would have it, acid wash came in. That is that one kind of a wash, correct? That made denim like it was the highest scarcity of denim in the lifetime of denim, correct? So it became a rage. And Beatles wore that in Abbey Road, that 4 guys walking through the, I don't know whether you are, I am in a different generation, so it may be all Latin and Greek, but from my generation, people will relate to this, Abbey Road and acid wash. So people were flying into Ahmedabad, correct, to just get their hands on a piece of denim. No, see, we started with Russia because we said, bhai, dekho, pehle let us establish our quality. We can't go to America, which are very stringent on.
Printed denim was not being done anywhere in the world that time.
No, printed denim was an experiment. It is not a genuine denim, and it would not wash down also the way a genuine pair of denim. So then that was an experiment which encouraged me to put a dedicated 30 crore capex. So I put the 30 crore capex and built one of the most modern denim facilities and lot of innovations at that time. Rope dyeing was done, we went into slasher. Sulzer looms, projectile looms were used, we went into airjet. So number of firsts in putting up the first denim plant, which was the most cost-effective, new technology, low-cost denim plant ever conceived at that time. So not only we went into denim for the first time, we went into a machinery configuration just because of the strength of my research and this very, very strong research team, which said, no, these things will work. So we had a lot of fuss, and people were saying, airjet mein to ho hi nahi sakta hai denim, because wo open ho jayega, or you will get defects. So we proved all this, and slasher mein you will never get the depth. All this is technical things. But we made a lot of fuss in technology, and we established this 3 million plant, and it became, and then luck. See, I would also like to emphasize that any successful guy believes that his cat's whiskers. He has to introspect and see that, see, every successful guy, I don't want to take away anything from them. They're driven, they're very good at what they're doing, correct? They're passionate, and they are definitely good. But the ones who really make it big, no, also have good breaks. The difference between a successful man and a man who's not very successful is, he knows that when I have got a good break, no, he doubles down on it. Whilst, and he has more resilience. A successful traits of a successful person. He doesn't give up very easily, correct? So he has that mental strength to last, that last mile, where many people who are not that successful will give up. This guy will not give up. Once he knows that what he is doing is good, correct, makes sense. You can't keep on just pursuing things which are, I mean, you should also know when to get out. Successful person knows that. This is not EBITDA negative. ये business pursue नहीं करना चाहिए unless you are in .com. Jokingly, huh? Jokingly. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. It is not true. They have a very clear strategy. But some jokes are nice. But you are recording, huh? So I have to be careful. And you are not going to, see, I'm saying things which I will not want. So then I'll be a little guarded. So this, what I was saying is that,
You were telling us about the denim movement.
so no, the traits of a successful person. So, but he has to, all of them have lucky breaks. So when I look at my, you thought over there, but I didn't think, there are a lot of coincidences, correct? Rajiv Badlani walked into my cabin, I printed it, then this thing happened, this acid wash came, and I was in a boom, and then I doubled down on it. So I mean, a lot of things have to come together for something to work out the way it worked out, correct? The common things are, you are executing, you're working at it, you double down on it, you fully make use of an opportunity. You shouldn't take away that. If you want to take credit, you can take that. If you're doing, if I have to dispassionately look at what happened, this is what happened, correct? And a lot of luck. All these coincidences happened. So the nature conspires to, I have that belief also that if you have a very focused view, see, all ideas come here first, in your brain. You have a vision, and the sharper the vision you have, higher chances of it manifesting. So very successful have very clear ideas of where they want to go. Very clear ideas. And it may sound completely bizarre to many people because the idea is so large or so path-breaking. But to him, it is absolutely real. And to many successful people, this thing has already happened to him. It's an unshakable belief in what he's going to achieve. And then it manifests. And when you have that, no, you will see number of coincidences. Now, how does that happen? Quantum theory. I don't want to get into that. It will become very boring. But I do believe there is a correlation between a very focused thought, correct, and not desire, intent. The difference between desire and intent. Desire brings in greed, brings in other. Intent is pure. Intent has no other negative elements. Intent is a focused outcome, correct? And on the contrary, outcome is not, it's a focus and effort. And outcome, you never worry about it, is intent. Desire has lot of emphasis on the outcome. Difference between intent and desire. Desire में आपको outcome बहुत important है. So उसमें क्या होता है? Focus चला जाता है. निष्काम कर्म करवानी जो the theory is there. What is that? You are only, see, and what is in your hand? Outcome is not in your hand. But, the action is in your hand. How can someone stop you from acting? No one can stop you. So why are you thinking of something which in any case is not in your hand? How much energy gets lost in desire? And too much. And see successful people. Ask Gautam Bhai. To him, this is reality. Infrastructure of India has to be changed. Simple things. No? So, the outcome है. इसमें क्या बहुत बड़ी, आप है strategy teams and blah 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 blah. अरे यार ये इतना simple तो चीज़ है. इसमें क्या है? ये execution करने का है. इसमें strategy तो चाहिए नहीं. Execution has to be better than everybody else. Think simple. हो गया.
Are you saying that the denim movement cannot be strategized, it has to happen, or it has to be a combination of providence
it has to
and...
be a combination. See, first you have to, let's say, what I can say I did differently, what everyone could have done. First, acceptance of power loom as a reality. So, accept reality. Usually, people don't accept reality. When problems come, you wish them away. You don't accept them. This is the first problem which starts. Firstly, you are not willing to accept your own shortcomings. You have a wrong view of yourself. So firstly, are you honest with yourself? Can you become a third party to yourself and look at you? Correct? And a successful man should know his weaknesses more than his strengths. So if you accept, first is acceptance of all your weaknesses and reality as it is and exaggerated. Guys tell me you are paranoid. I am paranoid. I like being paranoid. See, whatever good has to happen, correct? So Abhi Jayashree was just showing me, Mukesh Bhai has said you have to remain positive. I said, I know. See, because I am so paranoid, she tipped something and said, Jo, Mukesh Bhai has said this. I said, I understand what Mukesh Bhai said. So I'm paranoid to that extent, correct? So know your faults. So if you have to look at this, I accepted this, then I put in a team to figure out why should I win, the right to win. So there was logic, there was strategy to that extent. Correct? So when, I think Gautam Bhai, I'm not talking on his behalf and I have no idea. But I think he told me once, इसमें strategy क्या करने की है? We have to fix the entire infrastructure of India. Correct? That's the vision. Now, ये तो कोई भी बोलेगा कि आपको एयरपोर्ट्स करने हैं, आपको पोर्ट्स करने हैं, आपको रोड्स करने, व्हाट इज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, रेलवे स्टेशन करने, सब करना है, तो अभी करने का है इसमें. So strategy is very clear, goal is very clear. Now all the complexity. So why would he win? Because it is a very complex issue to do, and he gets it done. So he succeeds. So very clear vision, very clear imagination of where you want to get, and then 16 hours a day or 20 hours, nothing else. It is like Arjun, एक ही आंख और वो बाण वहाँ जाना ही चाहिए. So it is like a karma yogi. All these are karma yogis, no? I mean, does this happen just by luck? Luck also favors only someone who is so focused. Correct. Luck is part of this thing, but it is. I mean, luck is not cannot make you a Mukesh or a Gautam Bhai. It cannot. Let us be very honest. They are what they are because of whole lot of things which I have just talked about. Correct? And we should say that we are, we need so many Gautam Bhais to make India great. Correct? And Mukesh. I mean, they are changing the landscape of this country. And finally that is, I mean, many a times people have asked, I think, Ambani's, कि भाई कहाँ आपने contribution किए or donation किए. I think what can be better contribution than changing the whole economy? How many people are given employment? How do you deal with poverty? How do you pull so many people out of poverty? Can you pull them out by donation? The answer is absolutely no. How much? What is your impact area if you just donate money? Another anecdote, Nandakani. So we were all in this gathering where you contribute. We were all saying, what can we all do? What are the key things every family can do? And we were all saying, we'll do this, education, healthcare, blah, 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 and all that. So he got up and he's saying, the only platform where you can make the maximum difference is government and policy framework. Aadhaar. Can you think of any personal time and difference any individual has made in India? I mean, just look what Aadhaar has done for you. Single-handedly a man takes a sabbatical from Infosys, gets into a bureaucratic environment, correct, and makes something like this happen. I mean, it is the highest contribution to India, I would say. Now, when you are talking about CSR means, see, Dadaji also said, giving money is the easiest thing. And that is the lowest contribution you can ever make. You have to make it, but that's the lowest contribution a capable man can make. The time, ability, effort, your contacts, your networking, when you get a position where you can influence things, how much of your time you are giving. Anyone can give money and don't feel good about it. It's the minimum you can do. Correct? Can you give your time? And what Nandakani has done? He's given his time. His exceptional abilities have come to support India. And this should be applauded. Correct? These are the heroes of all these guys are changing India as we speak. Correct? And we need so many more. And these are the examples we should celebrate and honor. Correct? So this is what it is.
Amazing, sir. We can go on and on and on. Really amazing. I don't know how much time we have, Rajiv. So one last question, sir. So you have now into textile, into engineering, into real estate. What is your vision of the future of both textile and real estate in this country?
No, textiles, I think, should be used as a tool to make a difference to our employment issue. I mean, that would be the vision, not Arvind. So how can we change the entire, how can we take away the market share from China? So, I mean, I would now not want to think, if at all, think about is there a possibility of changing this paradigm? And I can contribute something there, then it gives me joy. Otherwise, I think Arvind and all is very, very, very clear as to what we intend to do, correct? So we have constantly reimagined Arvind. So first was denim, and then we went into all other synergistic business. We changed the wardrobe of India. We were the first people to get into a organized knitted entire vertical, entire wovens fabrics, entire denim, and now we are going into man-made fiber because that's 65% of the, so what I'm wearing is 100% nylon, nothing to do with cotton, correct? So this is the future. This is where you should dominate, and China is dominating, Taiwan, Korea is dominating. That is where India has to now make a major difference. If we want to become part of the global market and we want to take up this $1 trillion market share, then we need to really expand in the man-made fiber. So that would be the vision for textiles, Arvind included, but textiles in general. And if we can get these FTAs done, free trade agreements with Europe, and somehow the other break into AGOA and get into America, then that will open up markets, and we are positioned very well today in textiles because everyone else is looking bad. So China is into geopolitical problems. Sri Lanka is financially, and Pakistan are financially in a little bit of disarray. So is Turkey is in a nosedive on depreciated currency. Bangladesh is oversaturated, and also they have energy issues and dollar issues also. So India is in one of the sweetest spots to make a go of it. So if government, industry, everyone was to come together, and my plea to textiles is, we have divided textiles, spinning, weaving, processing, everyone खींच करते हैं, correct? वो खींच मूच करके खत्म कर देते हैं. Yesterday I was telling him when I was discussing with the Consul General of America, कि देखो आपका cotton, we will have to import cotton in 2 years. The Indian markets will grow to the extent that we will not export cotton, we will import cotton. The day we import cotton, at least our cotton is taken care of. So why don't we import yarn from America and not cotton? Spinning people will not like this. But if we can import yarn and tell American government that now you give me tax break, 17% duty on a pair of jeans, correct? Because I am buying American cotton, I am putting spinning in America, I am creating jobs in America, America great again, correct? I am in line with Make America Great. Now please give me AGOA, correct? If I do AGOA, I was just telling him, okay, let's do numbers. Okay, for 1 kilo of cotton coming, yarn coming, how many jobs I'll create if I go up to garments? And if I get a 17% break, I'll kill the whole world. And I'll create millions and millions and millions of jobs. The only guy I have to convince is spinning guys. Set up now factories in America. तो ये नहीं हो सकता है. मैं क्यों नहीं हो सकता? हम help करेंगे. तो medium and small entrepreneur. अरे भाई, I am getting you a visa. You will become an American resident. I will help you get the infrastructure. I'll negotiate with all the states. I'll get you funding. आप आपके लड़के को भेज दो ना वहाँ स्पिनिंग मिल वहाँ लगाओ. यहाँ ओवर सैचुरेटेड है, वहाँ से यहाँ आ जाएगा, हम अगोवा में से वापस चले जाएंगे. Now, if we think like this now, and if we think not in a divided fashion, we think as a country, and then we all have to, I'm not saying that spinning should not prosper. Spinning should prosper, but then something will have to be worked out which is a win-win. Then we can completely change the landscape. So I would think these things excite me. Yesterday only I was telling him this. And I discussed this with the Consul General.
Real estate, sir?
आप सब बहुत महारथिया.
I was hoping for an answer on this from very personal point of view. You have come in recently and dominated the market. What is your vision for the future?
No, I think, see, we are on a very large market, very large growth, correct? So REITs, the rental things, a huge amount of capital coming in. I think we have to, I think the enablers, land laws have to become much more easy. This whole bureaucratic thing should be made easier. Can we take it on platforms and remove it from personal approvals and all can become this thing? And land becomes more, I think these are the reforms required. But otherwise, Indian entrepreneurs will just get it right. And we can again change the landscape, tourism. I mean, there are so many different opportunities in real estate, correct? And it is again, it will create lots of jobs. It is absolutely required. It will create a multiplier effect in our economy. So it's one of the most important sectors for the future of India. And I think some enablers are required. So all of you should spend time on policy. See, CII's main role is policy. And think of a policy where you can change the paradigm. Get the best minds. Create those teams. And don't think about only your company. See, if you change the landscape, your company will benefit, no? I mean, if I do a Goa with America, I mean, there will be 1,000 Arvinds. अभी आपको जो करना है करना ना उसमें उसको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? So I don't think we think this way. You see, the one thing in India I find very troublesome. I went to the whole textile, उसमें आता है AEPC, this PC and that PC and CI. इतने सारे lobbies है within. So to get them united, then I got Boston Consulting and we could prevail on that time the secretary, Arvind Subramaniam, to come up with sweeping changes to support so-called PLI. But that happened because of Boston Consulting, we all coming together, we funding Boston Consulting, coming up with hardcore numbers, data, and analytics to suggest what is possible with data. Correct? Because finally you'll have to go and convince government. So it has to be a very well thought out numbers game. Like I have to prove this. And then you will require the big five to go deep into it. If you want to go with America, what are the benefits to America? What are the benefits to India? And how many jobs it will create? And those numbers have to be realistic. So would you spend the money? Would you spend the time, money, effort in getting this policy framework done? So real estate, please get these things done. Define all your constraints and think that you want to be, what is your potential without any constraints? So the best way of thinking about a thing is there are no constraints, correct? Now what is possible? And so that vision is established. Now what are the problems? So then the policy framework. ये दो चीज़ करनी चाहिए. And the best thing is not individual lobbying. Because see, individual lobbying is for a narrower objective. The bodies like you, correct? Or all of you, have a phenomenal, because you will be, every door will open for you. No? Everyone wants to hear a CII view. So use this and
so that's the perfect segue into my last question, sir, is your advice to CII, which you've already given.
Yes.
But one of the questions I have about this is that somehow the stalwarts of Gujarat industry have shied away from participating, or we have been guilty of that as CII. We have not engaged enough with people like you. So any advice on what we can do better?
See, Gujarat, I mean, you look at Pankaj Bhai's involvement with Gujarat Chambers to whatever. I mean, it's been phenomenal, correct? But I don't think you will get a good response. I mean, any thought leader, I mean, any inputs you want, I don't think any group would be, I mean, they're all put. The question is, you need to resource people and you need to be very clear what you want out of people. Then people will respond. I think Gujarat, on the contrary, I think is one of the, this is in our DNA, that we can come together and do things. So education is not my initiative. Please understand the history of education. AES was established in 1935. as at the instance of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Correct? He told Kasturbai and the other stalwarts, Mavlankar Dada, and I forget the name of HL Commerce na, Argovanda. Those three people were told that the prominent individuals of Ahmedabad should fund higher education. This is one of the first experiments of private sector contributing to higher education. This is how HL Commerce, LD Arts, MG Science, Pharmacy, and all these colleges came up. And you just see everything has been sponsored by a separate family. And it was not only that family must have given, let's say, 50%. The rest came from the citizens of Ahmedabad. So it is not a Lalbhai family initiative. It is the initiative of Ahmedabad. Today, who is on the governing board? Sudhir Bhai, Pankaj Bhai, all, I mean, it is not a Lalbhai family. We have been elected as chairman. It's a society. It is not by right. Correct? And so look at this experiment. It is an experiment where, and I never want, see, if you get that prominence and credit, na, it is not right. Because the right message is to say that this is the experiment where the whole community of lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs have come together to support higher education. And look what has happened in Ahmedabad. Correct? How many prominent institutions, from IMA to School of Architecture, to all these colleges, to now Ahmedabad University, to Nirma, to PDPU. I mean, just the thing, to kitne cheeze hui hai through private initiative.
And it's very unique. It's only happened in...
It has only happened in Ahmedabad. So you are in a blessed city. आपको जो मदद, I mean, जो भी inputs चाहिए, कोई भी, I think it happens seamlessly here in this city. Because this city has this DNA of मैं नहीं, हम.
That's really insightful, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know if we have much time, but we will take one or two questions. Last two questions, sir. Anybody?
I'm sorry I have been talking too much.
No, we have loved it. I mean, I think the round of applause calls for that. This has really been amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we have any questions? I think we've had. Please.
Sir, on the last, Sanjay Bhai, on the,
Sanjay कौन है यार?
so, on the last, this thing, it's amazing, and it was obvious, but we never thought about it, that this has happened only in Ahmedabad, this whole private participation, and that too before independence. It started before independence.
Absolutely.
Why, in your opinion or view, has it not happened anywhere other than Ahmedabad?
This is exactly because, see, this city, because of the influence of Gandhiji, or whatever you call it, has always, like if you ask me also, what is your vision of Arvind? Uske pehle mera thought aayega कि what textile can do for India. So see, I mean, this is not a prepared speech, correct? This was a spontaneous answer. Now, this is the thought process. कि आपका सोचने के पहले Ahmedabad में लोग, there are more people thinking about what can be done for the whole country. So this has been the DNA, and we are blessed. And the ability to say कि भाई, we have no animosity or that kind of a thing, that or wanting prestige or anything. See, when you are working on public platforms, I think the most deserving governing board member is the one who has ability and wants nothing. He has come there to contribute. He should not seek recognition. He should not seek remuneration and nothing else. He is there to serve. If you come with that mindset, everything becomes, and then exceptional abilities of individuals can come through. But this should be known. Unfortunately, we don't know of all these. I think I have told you many things which would not be known. Still, see, the people come and tell me that education, Lalbhais have something to do. We have something to do, is the correct word. Something to do. But it is not our initiative. It is Ahmedabad's initiative. Yes, I mean, all this is a Mahajan philosophy.
Go ahead, Rohit.
Firstly, thank you for a very insightful and a very candid, overview of your journey and also where we should, as young entrepreneurs, look at contribution to society. So one thing that comes to mind is when young entrepreneurs, when we look to scale, one of the biggest assets that we need to create is a team, right? So your secrets on creating a good team for growing an organization, because obviously if you start doing everything, you're the bottleneck, right? So we need to create a team, a structure to enable that. But in today's day and age, loyalty is not one of the greatest virtues. So, your guidance or your tips on how,
Sure.
We could sort of create a team.
See, the best people join you, everyone will want a very good package. So that's a given. But for the vision, correct? So when you articulate a vision for your business, which is beyond, see, it has significance, and if it is, let's say, socially responsible business. So when I tell people that you're not joining a textile company, you're joining a company which will empower so many women, which will change the lives of so many families, because 2 people will be earning members in that family. You will empower a woman at the age of 18 till she gets married at 22. She is become confident, correct? She's earned money, she's saved money. Her prospects of marriage will completely change, correct? And 2 of them will work. They'll come out of poverty, correct? This is your best chance of making a difference. Just giving you an example. So when you interview a very bright guy, correct, you will align him with all incentives. Firstly, you have to do it. Give him a share of, so you completely, get him involved with the entire financial, so whatever you share the financial gains by giving him stock options or profit share or things like that. So his KRAs, your financial numbers and requirements are in alignment with the key people who are going to make a difference. So they are at least aligned. You are all, see, an owner thinks about creating wealth and success, financial success. You have to align them with your top team. That is one thing. Secondly, can you give, or do you have a vision which is just beyond, every business has an implication to what it could do for the society at scale. So if you share these things, and then of course delegation is very difficult because it is easier to get things done yourself. But when you want the same things to be done through someone, it is 10 times more complex. So that mentoring, that establishing that report, then having all the systems and processes to ensure that Parta system, bringing that urgency and a long-term thinking. If you do all these things, and then the change in you, like I'm saying now, I have to wake up and not do business. It's a big change. Then for an owner who wants to delegate, it's the same change. So how will you go through that change? Because see, you were very used to, now what you can get done in 5 minutes, you have to get it done through them. It will not happen. Then you have to, train him or give that feedback, giving that honest feedback, helping him understand and having that dialogue. It's very difficult. See, most of the times I find that owners find it very difficult to have that honest dialogue. So many a times things are construed. I mean, they are not black and white. The other guy doesn't know what is expected from him, and he thinks he's doing very well, and you think he's not doing well. This is because you never sit down every 3 months and discuss it openly, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, and where you need to improve, and not as a criticism. Please don't criticize the individual, criticize the action, or pinpoint. So don't say you did this. Say these are the areas where we need to improve. So how you give that message out? And it's a complex issue, but these 3-4 things are most critical in doing it. Firstly, you have to change yourself.
Thank you. I think we'll end this. We are already too late. So first of all, thank you, Sanjay Bhai, for this amazing, amazing session. And I would be amazed if I did not mention my panel and chair, co-chair, Srinjay and Pravit for putting this thing together, for strategizing, ideating this, and Colleen and the entire team, Rajiv and CII, for putting this, making this happen. But thank you. Everything was wonderful. It is an amazing session. Now the benchmark has been set so high that we are nervous what we'll do next time. So, but thank you so much.